Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Calm-splaining the Interwebs. I am your calm and zen-filled host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota, although temporarily located down in Florida? Florida. That's where I am. Yeah. So how's it going, guys? Welcome back. Happy New Year to all of you people out there. It is wonderful to have you here. Oh my goodness. We have mostly defeated the illness, except for a lingering cough, which has just been absolutely lovely. And I swear, everything about how this thing handles video, ridiculous. I don't ever focus. Ever. Just never focus. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, I am now Florida man. I am all of Florida man. But you know, so here's the deal. Where do I start? Where do we start? It's a new year. Where do you even start on a new year? I don't know. I hate this setup. If you see me looking over here, it's because I got stuff over here when it would normally be here, and I don't have my over here. It's really just a pain. So I'm trying to get used to it. But tonight is the last night that I will be broadcasting mobile for a little while. I will be broadcasting back from the vault starting what's today? Today's Thursday. So tomorrow is Friday. I will not have a show oh wait, no, it's now Thursday. Oh, this is so confusing. I hate being in Eastern time. Thursday night there will not be a show. Friday night there will be a show from the vault. Thursday, I will be traveling back home, and I won't be home in time to do the show. Okay? There we go. We'll just say it by days. It's all very, very confusing. So, this will be the last show with this weird background that I kind of wash into. If I was Drexel, I would stand out very well, but I'm not. So that's that. Tonight, we're going to go through a bunch of different stuff. We're going to kind of do a year in review, I guess. I'm going to give... I say this at the beginning of every stream that ends up being 3 hours, but I don't know how long the stream is going to go. There's still no transcript. I think they had today off, so it's not that big of a deal. But there's no transcript for now, which is fine. We will get it when we get it. That said, we're going to tonight kind of do a year in review. We're going to talk about how things got to where they are in the cases that we've been watching, and kind of give some thoughts on the arcs of these stories, I guess. If you guys have any weird questions about last night, I can talk about last night. It was a fun time. Very fun. Had a very nice New Year's Eve party, and I can talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to do is talk about what's coming in the future, and it's the pretty near future for the channel. How things are going to change. I mean, not really. What we're going to cover, what you can expect to see, and some teasers for some things that I'm going to be working on as soon as I get home that I think a lot of you want. And I think it's time to actually do some of those things. So we'll talk about that too. No, I'm actually not hungover. I had a little bit of a headache this morning. I didn't drink a ton last night, but I didn't eat. So we'll preview with that. We'll preface with what happened last night, and then we can move into the meatier stuff as people continue to filter in. So last night, Lady Rackets and I got dolled up a bit, and we went to this place called Club Prana in Tampa. Well, in Ybor, whatever Ybor is, near downtown Tampa, I think. And Club Prana, it was very nice. We met up with Gothic Sushi, and we met up with a convention owner. So it was a lot of fun. I don't know how much he wants his information out there, so I'm not gonna really talk about it. You see him in the picture, but I won't talk about what convention or anything like that, or what his real name is, because I don't need fat, ugly, unsuccessful people hounding this guy constantly. Even though they already do and already will, I don't need them doing it more or whatever. I doubt he cares that much, but but anyway. So we went to this club for New Year's Eve. It was very nice. We had a table and just hung around. Now, our tickets, they promised hors d'oeuvres, little snacks, right? And I'm like, where's my snack tray? Where is it? Who's bringing the snack tray? And I look, and all they had for hors d'oeuvres were cookies and little chocolate cakes and cinnamon rolls and stuff like that, which is nice unless you're hungry for food. If you're hungry for food, you want, like, I don't know, little sandwiches or meat, like charcuterie or something like that. No, you don't get any of that. You get cookies. Like, basically, if you went to the grocery store and just raided the holiday treats section and then put it on a plastic plate, that was the hors d'oeuvres. Not solid. So I didn't need to drink much to get really, really trashed, as there was no food absorbing the liquor. So that was nice. That was nice. But we did have a good time. There were only 2 fights that broke out, so that was good. I did not say break my leg. I did not say someone broke my leg. He broke my lei. I had a black lei on for New Year's. And the guy getting thrown out of the club was reaching around for whatever he could find as the bouncers were dragging him past, and he grabbed my lei and he ripped it. And I was like, what the? Why me? What did I do? I didn't do anything. So that was fun. And then there was a chick fight later, which is great. Notice the guy, I don't know what the guy was doing besides trying to fight like 12 bouncers or whatever. He got thrown out. The 2 chicks who were throwing bombs did not get thrown out. So that was good. They just got broken up and everybody was like, whatever. We're not sure if I don't know if they were fighting or dancing. I mean, do we really care? So it was great. But anyway, we did have a very, very fun evening. Lots of good times. Tried to stream at midnight. It didn't. People are making fun of me for the potato quality. Well, yeah, it was really dark and really loud. So, but I just wanted to wish everybody a Happy New Year. There wasn't anything to talk about. It was just a hey, hi, what's up? Happy New Year. So that was that. But anyway, good times. Good times were had. And yeah, 10 out of 10 would probably do it again. I don't know. Okay, so moving on. We've got I guess how we got to where we are. Friends we made along the way. I'm going to talk about some of those friends as we go and kind of recap the last year. Now, I'm not going to do like a slideshow or something. I don't have the means with me to do anything like that. And if you thought I could manage that live, I mean, come on, who are you kidding? You knew this is going to be me just talking about what happened. I do have some documents to go over later today, and it's an update in the Christopher Hook saga. Wait till you see how much money Allstate is trying to squeeze out of Christopher Hook for those sanctions. It's a little bit disgusting if you ask me, but that's the way the system works. So hopefully Christopher Hook is going to fight the amount, probably on appeals, because there's no way he's going to get a fair hearing from this judge over it. But it's insane. It's insane. Am I debating Leonard French? Why would I do that? Oh God. But let me get through the super chats first. There are a couple here we need to address, and then we'll get into kind of where the year started, how it progressed, what was stood out to me, and then these characters that keep coming up. There's some interesting ones that have come up. Oh, and I've spent all day, not all day, I've spent a portion of my day dealing with whining from people, which is lovely. That's what I like to do. So we'll talk about that a little bit, kind of the parts of this whole affair that I don't know if you guys know about or whatever, but it's interesting to me, I guess, and I get to vent a little bit. But first, Wes Nilechan says, Nick, please reach out to Mecha Random from Midnight's Edge about her being e-stalked by Matt Boulder King Yarbo. If anything is filed, please review on stream. Really? Why is he stalking Mecha Random? I've talked to her on Twitter, but I've never interacted with her, I don't think, on video. Unless she might have been on an Ethan show that I went on. I don't remember. But why, what's his deal? Is he like stalking her? Is he thirsty stalking her? Is it something bad? Like what's going on? That's I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, I'll just see what's going on. I don't know. Freighter J says, $1 million idea: create and perform a sock puppet show of the Vic Mignogna case and the attorneys therein. It's very funny, and the visual I had of a specific sock puppet was even funnier to me. So we'll see. Maybe that might be on the horizon. Relic 509 says, Happy New Year, Rackets. Hey, Happy New Year to you, Relic. Thanks for hanging out today. And what is... God. Okay, Sean Brennan says, while you are in Florida, get yourself some walking stick bourbon. Best whiskey for the money. Well, I'm only in Florida tonight, but I'll be back in Florida before too long. So, we'll have to see what we can do. Okay, so that's the super chat. So, this year was a huge year for me, big year for the channel. Growth was unexpectedly high. My goal at the beginning of the year was to get to 50,000 subscribers. That was my 2019 goal. Clearly we have passed that, and so that was a great achievement. It was really nice to see that level of success. It was unexpected. I mean, I did think I would get to 50,000 subscribers, but it happened a lot sooner than I thought and in a way that I didn't really predict. So welcome to all of you who are seeing this, who are new to the channel starting in 2019. The 2018 was huge too. You know, I didn't expect this channel to do any of this. This was not a planned thing. It grew out of nothing. It grew out of me wanting to make fun of Maddox, the saddest internet person I've ever seen in my life. That's all. That was my whole goal. I was like, oh, I'm going to make fun of Maddox because he's such a giant pile of garbage. And I only say that in love. I actually like Maddox and would unironically love to have him on the show to talk to him positively I think everybody gets this misconception that I don't like Maddox. I mean, I make fun of him because he did a bunch of stupid stuff in the worst way. But at the same time, I realized what was going on. That guy was getting absolutely ham-boned by Kevin Landau, the worst attorney ever. Shadiest person I can think of. Kevin frickin' Landau. That guy is just a real piece of work. And I realized that, but it was too late. It was too late for Maddox. Maddox had already decided that I was didn't exist, which he pretended I didn't exist and pretended he didn't watch the show and all that. Similar to these defendants, right? It's how it goes. But of course they watch it. Lawsuits, big ones, big lawsuits, even little lawsuits to an extent, but big lawsuits especially, are life-ruining events. And I don't necessarily mean they make you, they destroy your life. They just ruin it for a while. Even if you're winning, because no matter what you had planned for the year, it's now a lawsuit. That's your plan. You have this thing that's monolithically expensive, time-consuming, soul-sucking, attention-sucking. It's hovering in the background of everything you do, and you have to deal with it. So, of course, if there are people online in any significant or findable way talking about it, yeah, of course you're going to sit and look at it. Like you're going to search around. You may not dwell on everything. You may not consume all of it. You're going to consume more than you want to let on because you have to. You have to. You just, it's there. It's there and it's consuming your time and mind already. So to try and avoid it would be anathema to how we work, all right? So Maddox, tried to pretend that I didn't exist and that he wasn't watching the show, but he dropped little hints here and there that he was. And then, of course, Kevin Landau wrote, sent me my first ethics complaint. And that's when I really knew. That's when I really knew they were definitely watching the show to a massive extent. But anyway, this is all just started out of me dumping on Maddox and the video being too complicated to upload like a giant thing to Facebook. I wanted it in a more accessible place, so I put it on YouTube and then poof, channel. But anyway, so my goal was 50,000 subscribers for this year. Exceeded that. That was wonderful. How did that happen? Well, there's something that happened in January, because at the end of the year, we were covering some different topics, like Meyer versus Wade, which there's still no order on jurisdiction in Meyer versus Wade, but there is a scheduling conference in 5 days, so I think we may see something soon. Meyer versus Wade started in October of 2018. It's a long time ago, and it's still in a jurisdictional thing, and they still may try to file a TCPA, even though the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has said that TCPAs are invalid in this thing. That ruling came after they filed, or after they filed the lawsuit. So maybe they try to. I mean, it would be a waste of time for them to do it. But that's been the strategy that Mark Wade has employed this entire time. It's a waste of time. But a brief recap of Meyer versus Wade, since that's where we really started off this year, okay? Meyer versus Wade is a lawsuit between Richard Meyer, your boy Zach is Richard Meyer. He's a comic book critic turned comic book creator. And then Mark Wade. Mark Wade, a longtime writer for Marvel, and also giant weeping pimple of a human. Just a nasty, nasty individual by so many accounts. So many accounts. Don't worry, we're going to get to Dead Air Donga. Don't worry, okay? We're getting there. All right, so Meyer versus Wade. Your boy Zach is at the time, he has filed his lawsuit in October of 2018, and it's just kind of rolling into this jurisdictional fight that would proceed through the entirety of 2019. All of it spent on the exact same stage. I mean, I wonder, maybe I can let me see when that jurisdictional motion was filed, just so we can see where it started. Because when I think about how little has happened, it blows my mind. Okay. So the motion to dismiss, get this, the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction by Mark Wade was filed on November 2nd of 2018. They still haven't ruled officially on that motion. They still haven't. It's been 13 months. We're going into the 14th month. It'll be 14 months, tomorrow. Today, officially, 14 months since the motion to dismiss has been filed in Meyer versus Wade. That is, think about how quickly Vic's case moved through the motion to dismiss. I mean, people think Vic's case moved slowly because it took a while. I mean, it went from February, really April, to about October for the first ruling on the issue to come out, right? April to October. Your boy Zach has been just sitting there suffering in silence through this lawsuit with this gross fatso named Mark Wade, who did the same things. He lied about your boy Zach. He lied in public. He lied on Twitter. He lied at conventions. We can infer that Mark Wade has thrown his considerable weight around to various conventions. Richard Meyer will probably never attend a comic convention because of Mark Wade. Probably never. And that's not something he's able to sue for, because that's all back office stuff or backroom stuff. Don't know about that. Don't know how to do anything about that. Can't combat it with the law because you don't have the evidence that it happened. But know this, Richard Meyer, who is one of the, and I'm not going by the stupid bleeding cool list, but he was unquestionably one of the most influential people in comics over the past 2 years, because he really disrupted the comics industry by just ridiculing things he thought were bad. That's it. That's all it took to bring the industry into disarray, to set up this weird Comicsgate thing where people broke off, and there were CEOs of Marvel, right, are addressing people like Richard Meyer on Twitter. Why? Why in God's name would they do that? See, there is the CEO of Marvel, Joe Quesadilla. I don't know if he still is. This guy is out there thirsty boying after Renfamous. Like, that is the effect that Richard Meyer had on the comic book industry. It's amazing. It's amazing what he did. And he will never be at a convention because he will be blacklisted. That's just how it is. No 13th Amendment for Richard Meyer. He will never get his seat at the table. So, but he is suing Mark Wade for lying about him, and specifically for interfering with a contract that was related to his first book, which was Jawbreaker's Lost Souls. Jawbreaker's Lost Souls, he did a crowdfunding for on Indiegogo, raised like $200-something thousand. Then Mark Wade interfered with a subsequent printing, not with his Indiegogo printing, but he had set up a contract with Antarctic Press to do a subsequent printing of Jawbreakers. And Mark Waid interfered with that subsequent printing through a phone call. He went ahead and admitted it in an interview with Bleeding Cool. He talked all about exactly how he engaged in his tortious activity, and that was published, and it was great. Good job. Fantastic move on his part. And then that got your boy Zach's comic book shut down. And then his crowdfunding went on Jawbreakers Lost Souls, went up to in the $400-something thousand, and after that as well. So that was nice. But his plan was to release a traditional comic book that would be available in stores, and he doesn't get to do that now. He doesn't get to. That's just, again, that's off the table. This is what this cancel culture BS is. It's destructive. Richard Meyer was ridiculing a comics industry that were so soft and sensitive that they resorted to attacking his lack of doing what they do, even though he wasn't really doing what they do. They said, well, you've never made a comic, so you don't know how tough it is. So he said, okay, I'll make a comic. Then he makes a comic. He outperforms 99% of the industry, right? He outperforms almost everybody in the industry with his first comic. He outperforms what they do, right? And then because of that can't be allowed. He is too hateful because he ridiculed their work. These people don't care. I want you to understand this. If it seems ridiculous that these people would carry on these crusades against random people on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever, because they said something or did something years ago or in private or whatever that they found so offensive, there's a very tiny percentage of people who actually care. Most of them don't. Most of them are personally hurt by something that person did. And then you utilize that action and the rage that someone could theoretically have at that action. They utilize and weaponize that. They bottle that up and sell it to morons on Twitter, right? They don't care that Richard Meyer called some woman a cum dumpster. They don't actually care. Newsflash, many of the people saying that literally beat women. Okay? Many of the Mark Waid? Not going to say much about Mark Waid, but this man has temper tantrums at everybody who does anything that he thinks is a slight. He's insane. The man is crazy. He doesn't care about the words used because they're words. He cares because the work is getting ridiculed. It makes him and his industry look bad. That's what hurt him. That's what hurt him. The outrage mob, that thing started up because it is effective in deplatforming your critics. And it's the only thing that's effective in deplatforming a critic. Okay? You can't shut down someone who's ridiculing you. You can be funnier than them and ridicule them back. That sometimes works. Or you can ignore them. You cannot stop them unless you convince the world to go after them for being racist and you shut down their ability to earn income. That's why they do it. They're not funny people. They're not crafty. They're not good at banter, or they're not good enough at banter to counteract what happens to them. So they must go to the manager and attempt to get you shut down. That's how it has to work, or else they can't be effective. And they're not effective at much in life. Look at who these people are. They can barely get out of bed most days without being too offended to leave their house, right? They just can't go on. And then the problem is some of them try to be consistent with it. They usually fail, but they try to be consistent, so they get outraged at things that they should be outraged at but aren't. And then it's all just this rolling charade. But it's, oh God. But anyway, they must go after the income of the person, attack their job, attack their YouTube, attack their social media, attack them, get them in headlines. We're going to listen to a thing today in a little bit. We're going to listen to an audio clip of 3 disgusting men talking about Vic Mignogna. And how, maybe it's 4 disgusting men. Can't remember how many of them there are. It doesn't really matter. Talking about Vic Mignogna. And they're going to, whatchamacallit, talk about how their strategy to ruin his income. That's the plan. It's out there. It's in the open. This is what is going on. It's, thank goodness it's archived. So hopefully, unfortunately it's not the defendants doing it. However, it might be useful at some point. We'll see. But we're gonna go through that. And we'll just listen to it. It's like 3 minutes, I think, is the audio. But this is what they do. It's how they can, it's the only thing they can do. And the 4 people in this audio are failures. And they're verifiably failures. You can go look at what they do and see that they aren't successful in it. And that's why most of you probably don't even know about this audio. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Roxas 1969 says, whenever you make it back here in Florida, if I want to share a homemade apple pie moonshare with you. Are you asking when I'm coming back? I'm coming back in February, but I don't know what time, and I'm not 100% sure where I'll be or how much access I'll have. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I would love to try it. Apple pie moonshine sounds delicious. But all right. So we were at Meyer versus Wade. That's where the year kind of started. And then very shortly into the year, there was this growing debacle between 2 YouTube peoples in the former business partners in the internet blood sports community. We had Andy Worski and Tonka Truck, Tonka Saw, Donga Donga, the only undefeated fighter on the internet or whatever, challenging everybody to IRL fights and winning all of them by never doing any of them. So this is an interesting drama. If you didn't follow it, it really was this weird, interesting thing. To go back a ways, Andy Worski and Tonka had this show, this internet blood sports, where people would get on and scream at each other and call each other autistic or whatever, a whole lot in funny ways. And people loved it. They loved the show. It was very popular for a while. And then it kind of fell apart for various reasons. But we don't need to get... I'm not an expert on it. There are lots of people who have commented on it who know so much more than me. But that's a helpful summary. Now, what ends up happening is after the falling out, Tonka challenges Andy Worski to a fight, a real, sanctioned fight, as he's done to a lot of people, challenge them to fights. And most people say, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to fight some rando from the internet. And he's, oh, I win, you're a coward or whatever. Well, Andy says, okay, let's do it. and the saga begins rolling. And they get this fight going. They get a promotion. It's in Knoxville, Tennessee. Andy Worski starts training and live streaming the training and all of that stuff, or doing videos about the training. He's learning how to fight and do some different stuff in a short amount of time. And Tonka talked about it, I guess. But when it came down to it, there were requirements on when you had to actually get your blood work, your identification, all that stuff to the Tennessee Gaming Commission. Because shockingly, for professional contact sports, there's a set of rules and a commission that oversees it. And if you don't follow the rules, you don't get to fight. Big surprise. Now, I'm not really following the drama at the time, but many of my viewers are, and I had been on the Kill stream a couple times, and involved with Dick Masterson's audience and stuff like that. And there's a lot of overlap in those communities with the internet blood sports community. So a lot of people asked me to kind of look into it. And I had also had Andy Worski on my show before that, because I was kind of interested in covering his return to the internet, because he had a kind of a catastrophic fall, and then he came back. And I was really interested in how he was doing that and how he's marketing that and all of the, the mechanics behind it. So I was talking to Andy about that stuff. And then this thing happens where the fight, basically, they say, yeah, Tonka doesn't get to fight because he didn't turn his stuff in on time. I thought, man, there's got to be something more to this story. So I messaged Tonka and I said, I would love to talk to you about this and get your side of the story, because we all heard Andy's side. Andy's side was everywhere. Tonka was pretty quiet about it. And so he came on my show. It was a very long show. A recommended watch, the Tonka Saw interview. I strongly recommend, if you are not familiar with it, it was pretty interesting. I had him on for about 4 hours. And it's important to know that at the end of that interview, he thanked me for being a very fair interviewer and giving him a shot, a fair shake. And he messaged me later, thanking me again. Won't let anyone rewrite history on this one. Tonka Saw thanked me for that show twice. Once on the stream, once in private later. So, I really recommend you watch it if you haven't. It's a fun one to look at. But so this guy, the reality is pretty simple. He literally didn't turn in what could be verified as his own paperwork in time, despite claiming to be involved in these professional organizations with wrestling and stuff like that. Should be somewhat familiar with the rules. And the fight promoter was pretty clear that he didn't turn in what they could verify as his blood work. And if you can't do that, you don't know if the guy in the ring has hepatitis or cancer, AIDS, or whatever it is, and you don't know if he's going to give Ebola to the other fighter or the people in the audience or the doctors or the cut men or anybody else who might be there, right? And the gaming committee or the athletics committee cannot be responsible for transmitting some megavirus to all sorts of people that are involved in this fight. They can't do it. So whatever brain aids he had that prevented him from understanding that, we'll never know. But he defended to the death his right to use a name on the blood work that didn't match the name on his driver's license. And then there was all sorts of stuff with a bogus name change form that never really got filed. I don't know. Did anybody ever follow up if he actually changed his name? If that name change form ever actually ended up getting executed and his name is now legally something else? I have no idea if they ever verified that. But he filed the name change after he sent the blood work in. It was very, very suspicious. Long and short, we go to Knoxville. There's a big to-do, but there was no fight because the Tonka Saw was out of gas or whatever, never showed up. He didn't even show up with the dignity to apologize to people and have a, set up another time or whatever. He just completely cowered it out. It was really a shame. Really a shame to see that happen. That was January. It was at the live event in Knoxville. It was a lot of fun. Got to hang out with Ethan Ralph, got to hang out with Dick Masterson, got to hang out with Andy Worski and Coach Red Pill. And then, of course, half of the people just mentioned have had some issues. Andy and Coach have had issues as of late. And because Coach got demonetized, I believe. Something like that. On at least one of his channels. I don't know if he has more. But Coach got demonetized. Andy has been was doing some like IRL live streaming. Almost got beat up by some Canadians. He's Canadian, so that's weird. That's like being at home. And then had Alex. I can't remember Alex's last name or his screen name, but Alex was with him. Pulled a gun on these buff Canadian bros and stay back. And then was charged with unlawfully brandishing a firearm, an assault or something like that. Was eventually the charges were dropped as I believe they would be because they did not seem appropriate at all. But and I had talked about bringing Alex on the show to discuss the case. Some of you may not know what happened with that, but let me tell you what happened with that. I wanted to have Alex on. I talked to Alex about coming on several times. And in fact, one of the last times I talked to Alex about coming on was right after his case was dismissed. And I said, okay, man, you good to come on? And he said, I should probably wait until like October to come on because...
Here's the result.
What? He said he should wait till October to come on because then all the time would have passed and the prosecutors couldn't resurrect the charges that they were dropping and all of that stuff. Now, here's the thing. Told me he couldn't come on my show until October, and then I think it was the next day or maybe within the next few days, he went on Dick Masterson's show and talked about the case. And then he talked about the case on other things. So it's like, well, I mean, I guess I don't need to have him on the show. Maybe I'm petty about that. But I thought that was kind of, I didn't think that was the coolest move that a person could make. But, people will do what they do. And maybe he didn't have any, issue with, or maybe he didn't mean it to be a slight. I don't know. I'm not in his mind, but it was kind of lame to say I can't come on and talk about the case for like 6 months and then to immediately go on another show and talk about the case. So there you go. Well, who cares? So that's where that saga kind of ended up. I just thought we should probably wrap that up. I know my Discord knows that story, but I don't know that the general audience knows that story. And I guess it's time to briefly plug the Discord. If you follow me on Patreon or New Project 2 at the $5 a month level, you too can join the Discord. It's a private community, a private closed Discord. I know everybody wants an open Discord, but I'm sorry, I just cannot do that because I can't deal with it. It's enough issue dealing with a private closed Discord, by the way, as I spent much of my day dealing with today. Some people who don't understand the value of being likable. So that was nice. That was nice to work on, but I do encourage you to join the Discord. It's actually full of really good people. There's a lot of fun conversation that goes on, and it's a place to interact. And we do live chat Wednesdays, which is every Wednesday, well, except today because I've been gone. Every Wednesday we do like a 2-hour just chat, hang out and chat. And then sometimes there are impromptu late night ones and stuff like that. Don't listen to Rekieta. It's definitely not full. But yeah, so that's there. But that's the brief plug for the Discord. Anyway, all right. So then moving into, that was just kind of January that this stuff happened. I mean, the Andy and Alex stuff happened later, but it was just really January. The Knoxville stuff happened, and going into February, very early on, I was alerted to this guy named Vic Mignogna, who I had not consciously heard about. I realized later that I had seen a video of him because I found out, I saw a video of him doing a Broly yell at a convention. I was like, oh, that's the voice of Broly. Click, don't care, right? Never really knew about it, but I had, I guess, technically heard of him prior to the case, but it's not something that I could tell you about until later because I just didn't remember. But I get told about this guy, Vic Mignogna, who's in a bad situation, and you know, I've told this story before, but I emailed him, reached out to him, invited him on the show. He politely declined a show that we did, and the show was, God, it was me, Yellow Flash, Gator, and Anime Outsiders, I think, something like that. I think that was the panel that we had. And it was on, I believe it was on February 11th that we did the show, which was right when everything kind of, or no, it was a couple days later. It was like the Friday after. And yeah, it was Cody Bayer who told me about it. That's Anime Outsiders. And I believe the stream were those four. And then that's when kind of the Vic saga kicked off. Did a panel discussion, kind of really telling me about the events. I didn't know too much about it. And then after that, you know, and I'm not going to get into too many details or whatever. You can go review it yourself. I've said it before. But I hooked Vic up with his lawyer, and I started a GoFundMe for Vic after prompting from you guys, from the audience. People prompting me saying, how do we help Vic? How do we do this? And I thought, there's a GoFundMe option that Richard Meyer used. Ethan Van Sciver set up Richard Meyer's GoFundMe for his lawsuit. I could maybe do something for Vic and hope to raise like 50 grand and see what happens. Ended up, of course, being much, much more successful than that, which is fantastic. And that's really kind of what happened there. And that has progressed through the year. It's really kind of dominated the channel through most of this year. There are other subjects that have come and gone throughout the things, but they're kind of filler stories for this arc. We've been able to follow this lawsuit because because I know Ty, we're able to get access to one side of the story, and Ty has come on the show. Other lawyers are not banned from this show. Lemoyne, Casey Eric, not banned from the show. Ron Toye is not really banned from the show. He talked to someone about coming on my show. I didn't ask him. But these people could give their side of the story if they wanted to. They've sent the Shanes and the John Michael Kellys. We're going to talk about that because that's gross in a little bit. But yeah, so because of that, there's been access to counsel for Vic Mignogna through this show. He has come on and talked about the case lots of times and everything. And that, I hope, has been something to kind of that's interesting to you guys, right? To have a look into a case that you can't find really anywhere else. And so that has been this ongoing thing. Now, of course, the initial ruling from the district court level was not favorable to Vic. He lost on all 17 counts. And because of that, it is now being appealed. I say because of that, because the appeals process in the TCPA status or section of a case, if any one of the counts would have gone through, he would have had to wait until the end to file his appeal on the rest of them. So once a good number of them were getting dismissed, in a way it was better for the rest of them to get dismissed, not from a morale or moral victory sort of standpoint, but from a legal standpoint, it seems to be probably the best course of action. Because if we would have had one lingering TI action, that would take a year to litigate, and then you would have to, after that, appeal all of the other stuff. I mean, we would be dragging out and just having one issue against one defendant, and it'd be really staggering the process even longer. So from a morale perspective amongst Vic's fans, I think it was kind of crushing. It was kind of crushing for me, obviously. I really did not see it going the way it went. And anybody who tells you that they saw it going this way, the way it went, is lying. You can go back and look. They thought the results would be consistent with what happened, but they didn't expect it to happen in the way that it happened. And that's the really interesting thing about this. Being at that hearing, what was happening in that courtroom was very, very odd. It wasn't consistent with how a TCPA should play out. The judge is doing lots of things that don't matter. The judge was asking for controverting evidence from the defendants, which is weird because that's not what prima facie is. It's not what a prima facie case looks like. You don't get to controvert the evidence. All sorts of stuff, and I've covered it all. And believe it or not, I'm going to do a short status of the Vic case, maybe like a recap video and then a status video or something. I'll figure out when I get to, I guess, planning it out specifically, if it's going to be 1 or 2 videos or whatever. That's coming. And hopefully a nice, concise summary of what's gone on and where we are will be, I want to put that together. I want people to have access to that without having to dredge through hours and hours of live streams. And that's something I'm focusing on more over the next year, is having these concise things to go to. But we'll talk about that more as we go. So the appeals process is now underway. And the appeals process is part of litigation. There's no way around that. I mean, you may win a lawsuit at the district court level, and that may be the end of it, but the appeals process is part of litigation. And you may always appeal. At least one time you can appeal. And so a lot of stuff, appeals are a function of time and money. Do you have the time and money to go through with the appeal? If you lost. If you won, you hope the other side doesn't have the time and money to go through the appeal. But they can certainly try. There's not much you can do about it. So that being said, the appeal is part of the process, and we're still probably a couple months away from seeing real movement on that appeal. But, when we do, we'll see how it goes. I have some faith in the appeals process, but don't misquote me. So many have. The appeals process it's tough. It's a tough situation, especially when you're trying to overturn a lower court decision. I think there's plenty of grounds to do it. I think the basis is there for it, but whether or not they will is a tough question, because they literally have to tell a judge, no, you're wrong. And they do, with frequency, do it. With particular frequency. Chup has been overturned in some major headline cases out there, but that doesn't mean he's always overturned or even overturned more than other judges. But they do it every day. The appeals courts in this country, it's why they exist, are overturning decisions that are incorrect. Will this one be overturned? Don't know. We'll see. It depends on a lot of different things. So I'm hopeful that it will, at least on some of the issues. I would like to see Vic get some justice. And I really think even passing the appeals process will get Vic more justice than he's already gotten. So I want to see him win. But even, getting past the appeals process would be absolutely devastating to the defendants. And I would find that very, very funny indeed. Now I would find it very, very funny. I don't know if I would have found it as funny 9 months ago. I was trying to tell them, and if Vic gets past this first appeal, if things get overturned on this first appeal, they will be in a level of financial desperation that they are not prepared for. And that, again, based on how they've acted, will be really, really pristine comedy. So I hope that that's the result. Because, man, I thought they were dirtbags at the beginning of this. They are really, really worse than I ever could have imagined. So that'll be great. I would love to see Funimation Discovery. Yeah, that would be fun. And we like if it happens, we will see it. We will see it. And it will be grand. So there's that. Now, along the way, we met some interesting people. There, of course, is Shane Holmberg, which was a very interesting stream. Another one that did not go at all as planned. Shane even told me before the stream, "Hey, this is all just for fun, right?" I said, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, just to entertain your audience." I said, "All right, I guess." He said, "I'm not going to attack you or your qualifications or anything like that." I said, "Cool, man. I'm just going to tell you how contracts and tortious interference work." And we started the show, and it didn't take long for that to break down, so to speak. And that ended up being a really, really interesting couple hours. So it that was a good time. Again, another great show in my opinion. I don't get to do those too often, and I don't like to do them. Well, it's usually not planned. Okay, the Tonka one wasn't planned either. It wasn't planned the way it went down. Neither was Shane's. I approached these conversations honestly, and then they approached them with what I found to be dishonesty. And you can repeat this little statement about the perfection stream, and about, was there someone else? Well, I talked to NBA on the Kill stream. There was that. But it was, yeah. I don't know that there was another one. But I'm sure. I mean, there was Donga. Yeah, that was the first one. And then Shane. And then Perfection. I think those were the main ones. Now, I would love, if this sounds great in context, I would love to talk to Animat. Animat has been saying some interesting things on his videos lately. And so I am extending a formal invitation. I don't know how to do this. Maybe I should make a shout out video or something specifically, but I will extend a formal invitation to Animat to come on the show. He wants transparency in the GoFundMe. I am the Emperor's new clothes. I'm not the Emperor. I'm just his fly suit, buddy. Transparency, you want it? Come on the show and ask the tough questions, and I will give you the easy answers, my dude. I got no problem with you. I literally don't know who you are or what you do, but I did hear a lot of very high-pitched screeching at me about something, and he's never asked me for it. So that's how that goes. I will ask him though. I tweeted to him if he wanted to come on the show, and he didn't respond back. So I'll have to maybe, I guess, hound him a little bit politely and professionally. I don't know if he's got an email contact, but I'll reach out. Genuinely, we'll have him on the show. Maybe he's a good dude. He just doesn't know me. That could be. We'll see. But Animat is welcome to come ask the hard questions. So I would we'll see how that goes. But that brings me to someone who has not ever been on the show. Was invited once, and then I had to cancel on him because I had Doug and Ethan on the show. Well, I had Ethan on the show, and then Doug joined the show kind of midstream. It was very impromptu, weird sort of fight between Ethan and Doug, something that I do not like to see and I'm very unhappy about. I hate that friends of mine are fighting. It's very uncomfortable. And yeah, but they are. What do you do? What do you do other than be their friends? Like, I'm not gonna stop. Here, this is my solution to Ethan and Doug. Stop it. No. Anyway, John Michael Kelly, though, has not been on this stream despite practically begging. We're going to talk about another person who's been dying to come on this show in a little bit. But John Michael Kelly has been practically begging to come on the show for a very long time. He knows some secret about me. Oh, I think he figured out that I know Ty. I think John Michael Kelly figured out that I know Ty Beard, which is really that was a landmark discovery. I don't know how he figured it out, but he did. He exposed that I know Ty. I mean, despite me taking pictures prior to the lawsuit being filed, taking pictures hanging out with Ty. It was at my cousin's wedding. But you know, that's just, you know, he figured it out. I don't know how he could have possibly done it, you know. Ty came on the show and we talked about all this stuff. I don't know how he figured it out, but he did. Today, should I just find this? Let me find this. Where are, oh my goodness. Just find this real quick. We'll bring this up on the screen. All is okay. I know this is weird. Just a second. I don't have access to my normal thing. All right. This should be showing you it. Okay. So I'm just harmlessly perusing the internet, Twitter, innocently, and I come across a tweet from Jim. Well, not Jim. Jim's friend, Mr. Anti-Bully. People brought up Rekieta and someone he was arguing with getting outed for weird stuff. No, Jim language. Anyone have links to what that was about? Gator had a handy post that I hadn't seen here. And it says, Thidran's former best friend John Kelly, who has been going at Rekieta and Vic supporters and passive-aggressively trying to get your attention for months, got outed by Spectre and Kiwi Farms for posting about touching his kid sister on a pedo forum. And let's, here we actually have the screenshot, because it always helps to have the receipts. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in more than this on the actual picture. How annoying is that? I hate everything about this, but okay, I'll read it. It's in really tiny print. I hope you guys can see it, but it says, I don't want to go into too much detail right now, but a few years ago, I ended up doing something I am ashamed of with my younger sister. I don't know if she remembers it, and I'm afraid that she'll tell my parents. It was a moment of weakness, and we were both young. This is allegedly John Michael Kelly. I want to point this out. This is allegedly John Michael Kelly. Both of us were under 16, and she was younger than me by a bit. By a bit. Not sure what the bit is. I'm sure she's still the same bit younger than him that she was. I was curious. I want to seek help because I've been feeling something else over the past few weeks thinking about her, and I'm scared of what this could mean. That is allegedly the account of John Michael Kelly. Spectre has done a video on it here. I'm not going to watch the whole video. I have no idea what it says, but it's John Michael Kelly's Chickens Come Home to Roost. So if you guys want to check out Spectre Speaks video, you can see here what he has to say about it. I can put the link in the, maybe I should put the link in the description. Try and remember. I can do that real quick. Spectre's video on JMK. There you go. That is saved. All right. So if you guys want to check out Spectre's video, go do so after this show or during, however you roll is cool. But that's that. So, and here I was making fun of a fat whale all day, and that much more interesting thing was going on. So that's so I don't know about that. I don't know about this. Now, Gator has since clarified that part of the way they know that that's JMK is that the username on the forum matches the username on his YouTube channel. They're the same, and they're not like, it's not a common username. It's not like Bill or something, right? And it's not John Michael Kelly or anything like that. It's a unique string. So you guys can check that out if you want and make up your own mind. Seems like John Kelly went really quiet a little while ago. I don't know exactly why. There's some theories about why, but they're just theories. So I don't know if he's spoken up since, but whew, interesting people we run into in these dark times. Octorian says, Animat, Rekieta is a thief and a liar over the GoFundMe. Nick, just come on the show and you can ask whatever you want and I'll walk you through how this works. Animat, F knocks over pitcher of water and runs away. We'll see. Goodness gracious, this lingering cough. I'm going to have this for like 2 weeks longer. I know this sickness. I get it once a year and it's great. All right. So, who else did we meet along the way? Oh, Perfection. Perfection. Xavier Pace. was an interesting fellow. An interesting fellow. We're going to get to the audio. Don't worry. We'll get to the audio in just a little bit. Perfection is a fellow who is a... I don't know how to describe him. He's such a thing that's interesting. He's like created his own Dragon Ball fan fiction harem. And Perfection had a small but extremely loyal audience. Similar to Mad Black. These guys had garnered these small communities that were really, really loyal and would ardently defend their YouTube guy. Which is cool. Good job. I credit to people who can do that and who can curate a community. That is not it's not a slam or a knock against them at all. But one of them has shown up many times in this chat. His name is Sims, SSIMSS or something. SSIMS? I don't know. He lots of S's. He came in here and ardently and fervently defended Perfection, even after I had Perfection on the show. The Perfection stream resulted from Perfection, who was allegedly on the side of Vic, being very, very critical of some people like me, Yellow Flash, Tug, whatever. Now, specifically, I believe he suggested that I might have done something improper with the GoFundMe money, and I really don't like that accusation because I set up the GoFundMe in such a way that it would be really, really difficult for me to do anything bad with it. Like, I don't get to access the money, and if I made a change, like if I decided to redirect new donations to anyone other than the trust account at Beard Harris, right? You guys would know because the GoFundMe would change the beneficiary. And just the background story to doing that is the moment I changed the beneficiary, because it's not for me, because I am hosting it for Vic, okay? The moment I change the beneficiary, they're going to need some, they would freeze withdrawals the second it changes. Frozen. No money would transfer the moment that change goes in. And then they're going to need some sort of documentation from wherever it's going to verify that the change is valid, to verify that it's going to the right place. You can't just throw out a random account. You actually had to do a lot of stuff to get this set up to go into the trust account in general. That being said, you shockingly cannot just lie about where money is going to go and then change it, especially on a very highly publicized GoFundMe that a lot of people are looking at, and people are probably to this day flagging. But you can't do it. You just can't. I don't know how else to say it. You can't do it. I set it up so that it would be the most obviously non-tamperable thing it could. I set it up to go into an account that would have reporting requirements from the state bar. I set it up in a way that, I mean, the only limitation is that attorney-client billings are, if they're not privileged, they're pretty much confidential. So unless they have some reason to disclose them, like for the case or whatever, you won't see them unless they want you to. And I have no control over that. Zero. Because I am not on the attorney team, I do not have, at least in regards to this stuff, any attorney-client relationship with Vic. Whether or not there's an attorney-client relationship over some other stuff, that remains to be debated. But that being said, as far as his billing with Ty goes, I don't have the ability to have that information. And more importantly, if I did, I wouldn't have the ability to disclose that information. It's not up to me. It's up to Vic and his counsel, which I am not. So I can't do that. What I can do is tell you where all the money has gone. That's pretty easy because it's right there in public. And there's not a way for me to tamper with that. So this is one thing I really wanted to shut down. One, because I don't like being accused of felonies. Two, because the integrity of the GoFundMe, it was set up specifically to allow people to trust that the money they were donating would go where it was supposed to go. People say, oh, that money's going to the defendants. Nope, won't go to the defendants. It will go into the trust account for Beard Harris to be dealt with how Beard Harris and Vic choose to deal with it. That's it. That's where it goes. Not much else to say about that, but the judge can't order that money out of the trust account. Judge doesn't have that sort of authority or jurisdiction. Judges don't get to order where money comes from. The judge doesn't have jurisdiction over GoFundMe to redirect funds or something like that. Plus, the money isn't at GoFundMe, right? It moves all the time. It's set up that way for a very specific reason. I knew this would be a very public GoFundMe with a lot of enemies. And I wanted to set it up that it would survive. It would survive the attacks on GoFundMe. It would have legitimacy and all of that stuff. So, but yes, that's that. So this is why, the perfection thing kind of rankled me, and why the Animat thing rankles me, right? Like, I've done this as transparently, talked about this openly, and as carefully as possible. There is so much care that has gone into this GoFundMe that it's like, you look at all of these other GoFundMes, people set up GoFundMes for themselves for whatever. There's no accountability. There's none. There isn't a possible way to account someone who says, yeah, my platypus needs liver replacement surgery because I fed it vodka. I need $8,000. Well, you don't know if the platypus even exists. Like, there's no way for you to verify that. I can't stress how open and verifiable this GoFundMe is. So, but that's what's there. So, anyway. So I got to talk to Perfection. Now, Perfection was an interesting stream. It was not as hostile as Shane Holmberg at all. It was more along the line of the Tonka stream. And the Perfection stream turned out like this. Perfection said a bunch of stuff, and then I got him on the show and asked him about the stuff, and he immediately walked it back for like hours and hours and hours. That's what he did. Just walked back everything he had said. And then I invited Mad Black on the show, and Mad Black and Perfection had all sorts of words for each other. Great words. The best words. Really tremendous. Tremendous words. So that was an interesting back and forth. And I had to throw Mad Black off the show because he broke the one thing he agreed to. Maybe this was a red flag. Hindsight, right? But the one thing he agreed to was that he wouldn't call Perfection a pedophile, and he immediately, I got up to go to the bathroom, he immediately calls Perfection a pedophile. So I, that was Mad Black's agreement, and then he left the show graciously. We finished off the interview, and I had Mad Black on the next day, and we had a really great stream. Me, I think Drexel, Mad Black, had a great stream, like 6 hours long. Good conversation. I thought we were good. Well, then of course, fast forward several months, and for whatever reason that I don't get to this day, Mad Black decided to start accusing me of some really weird stuff. And then he got fooled by a fake account, a fake me on Twitter, and got really mad about it and started saying stuff about me. And I called him out on it in private by text message, and he tried to walk it back. But then things kind of came to a head, and so that culminated in him making a really interesting live stream where he had invited Ron Toye on for an interview. And then Ron Toye stood up Mad Black. And so he started going nuts on Ron Toye, on a bunch of people, and then he ended up threatening me, with murder or whatever. and that was really interesting. He then went on he quit the internet, or he quit the YouTubes or whatever. Immediately came back. He went on the kill stream, in which I was able to talk to him a little bit, and we had a little back and forth on the kill stream. And then he vowed to leave the internet until 2020, and that lasted something like 3 days. So there you go. I look like I still have a hangover. Nah, fam. I'm good. But yeah, so that's the Mad Black saga. Again, if I had to go into streams that I think were really good to watch over the past year, Perfection Show, the Holmberg Show, and the Tonka Show are way up on the list. But I will add in there other great shows. Phil from the Dollhouse was a great show. I want to talk to him again. I want to have Drexel on and talk to Phil from the Dollhouse, and we can talk Coomerism or whatever. I would love to do that show and really kind of get into it. Phil was a great guest. Man, those are some of my favorite shows that we've done live. Those 4 interviews were particularly good. I mean, there's a bunch of great shows. I love doing the Chad Dad chats. I love doing the big brain panels. See more of that coming over the next year, of course. But those 4 really stood out to me as some of the great things. The deposition videos streams, those are good. There's so many people watching them. That's what really made them fun. Let me talk about the depositions. Because this has been one of the most frequent requests I see is people want the deposition videos out there. Let me tell you what my plans are for the deposition videos. I am going to cut out some short segments from the depositions. They will be put into compilations or whatever. Bear with me. Or like, I don't know, if it's a long enough segment of text where there's some good info and can be highlighted, I'm going to put that into a thing. Parts of the depositions that I take out and find very important. These are coming soon. It's what I'm working on once I get home. Like, it'll be an ongoing project. Also, at some point, I believe I will release the full deposition videos with no commentary, because that's been requested. So But first, I'm going to take out the stuff that I find important and package that in with not interrupting commentary, but just, these are just be not live streams or whatever, just short videos like this is indicative of X. Okay, so that's going to be there. And then there will also be eventually the long full versions or whatever. So that's coming. All three of the depositions. This is going to be one of my big projects over the next couple weeks here. So that people have been asking for that. Yes, it's coming. But for now, of course, there are the deposition live streams you can go back and review for now if you need something quick from it. But what I want to do is I want to give people, I've been saying this, but I need to actually like buckle down to do it when I'm not as busy running all over the country. Is I want to give people access to parts of the deposition that they can just link and say, here's this, here's this, here's this. So that's all coming. Oh man, I forgot about that stream. The another great stream of 2019 was the Funimation audio leaks. I thought that was a really fun stream. It was great. We got that Funimation stuff trending to #1 on Twitter for a while. That was awesome. It was good. Can I get the episodes loaded to the podcast channel? Yes. I will work on it. But yeah. So the audio leaks were great. All right, Anonymous says, been watching you for just a little over a year now. Your channel has definitely been a highlight of the year for me. Keep up the good stuff. Info on Vic signed posters. Yes. Info on Vic signed posters is, I had backburnered it again. I'm getting home tomorrow, and it's really high on my priority list because it has to get done. But now Ty Brunner asks if we can get a best of Nick Toasty rants. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. It's coming in the next year, and there's gonna probably be, I think we've settled on this, 2 additional sister YouTube channels to this one. All right, now bear with me. I'm not 100% sure on how this is going to function. But the main channel is still this one, which is where the content will occur. Live streams and stuff will occur here. Now, something is going to happen after a live stream, and then I don't know if we're going to whatchamacallit, take the live streams down and then re-upload them on an archive channel. What? Anyway, I don't know if we're going to take the live streams down and then upload them unedited on an archive channel, or if we're going to leave them on this channel. I'm not sure. But then there's going to be like a clip channel for rants and stuff like that. And then another one is just going to be an archive. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work, but that's all going to be somehow orchestrated so that there is some sort of thing for like spicy rants and just quick, just short takes from live streams. So people, if there's like a specific moment that people really like, or that, whatever. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work, but it's something to kind of keep an eye on, and I'll announce it when it goes live. But it's going to be a thing, I guess. So So there's that's how that goes. Very informative, I know. But look for that change in the future. Everything will be linked in some way where it should be easy to find. I don't know. It sounds like cancer to me, but we might try it out. If it doesn't work, I'll kill the other channels. If it's too confusing, I don't know. I don't like the idea of taking things down and moving them. I really don't. I don't like it at all. But I know that the live streams and people coming to this channel and seeing a bunch of 3-hour videos, they don't want to engage with that. It's that is intimidating for people who are uninitiated or whatever, who aren't part of the live stream community that is you guys. People don't know what that is. It's a different YouTube format than many of them are used to, right? When you cycle through your YouTube recommendations, you're seeing 10 to 20 minute videos on subjects. Then when you go to a channel and it's some dork talking for 3 straight hours, like if you don't know what's going on, that's a really weird thing. So that's the that's the issue, is that it's hard to bring new people to the channel with that wall of long videos. So I'm not quite sure exactly how to work, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, the stream highlights channel, stream clips or whatever, that's definitely part of it. As for what the other channel is intended to be, I don't quite remember what we've settled on, but it's my channel artist and I have been talking a lot about this, and it's a big project for 2020. So we'll figure it out. Like I said, I don't want to. The thing I like about preserving the streams as is that the chat's there, and you know it's not edited, and you know that there's nothing missing. And I like that about it. I like the honesty of it and the integrity of it. But we'll see how everything works out. So those changes are coming, and they'll be apparent and obvious as it goes. I've kind of alluded to them. This has been a long time in the works because I resist changes like this. But I think to keep the channel growing, something has to change in some way. So we'll have something. Who knows? But the clips channel and the short videos and all of that stuff will be a great way to bring people in to the content, because I love the chat community, and I think more people in the chat makes things interesting. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree, but that's that. Is there anything else I needed to talk about right now? The knives were mentioned in the chat a little bit ago. The knives, there's a reason I haven't auctioned the knives yet. All right? And it's because enthusiasm is really low on the VIX stuff. And I would love to auction the knives when enthusiasm is at a much higher place. That's the real issue. The knives are high quality work. They're really cool things that people should want. And I want to make sure that the amount of work that went into them is commensurate with the amount of enthusiasm that surrounds the knives. So that's and remember, I'm not getting a single penny from the knives. All of it is going to go to the GoFundMe. So but I want to maximize the contribution. And when we got time to maybe get ready to do the knives, that was right when the decision came down and enthusiasm really plummeted through the floor. It was Judge Chup. I don't know how else to say this other than I think my opinion is that Judge Chup's ruling was wrong. Now, TCPA rulings, as we covered one, right? We covered another Fort Worth TCPA on the show that was wrong in the opposite way, where no evidence was offered at all. Everything just went back to the filing, the pleading. And the appeals court said that the pleading probably wasn't even sufficient for notice pleading, so it definitely wasn't sufficient for TCPA, but it still passed. Had the ruling been wrong in the opposite way, the moral victory and the morale of Vic's supporters would have been tremendous going into the appeals for the other side. And then appeals would have potentially come down like a hammer on that or whatever, and then it'd be pretty crushing. The crushing just happened at this stage because we had Judge Chup. If we had had the other judge, right, would have passed no problem. That's the way it goes. But Judge Chup did massive amounts of reputational damage to Vic. That's something that we don't really talk about too much, is just how much power judges wield over people's lives, especially in this scenario. And I think a lot of that is Judge Chup, frankly, playing for the audience that he had in his courtroom, which is a little embarrassing for Chup. I don't know who else that would be embarrassing for, but it's unfortunately critically damaging to Vic, because I think Chup knows that he issued potentially the wrong ruling on the TI, for sure. I think on the defamation, I think on all of it, of course, but I think Chup knows that the TI was a bad ruling. I think Chup knows that the defamation may have been a bad ruling. I think he knows that him leaving out that affidavit or the unsworn declaration just goes ahead and that he had to leave them out because those cripple the case for the defense, right? Those two things, or those unsworn declarations from from Slaytosh, that unsworn declaration from Slaytosh absolutely ravages the defense. And that by leaving that, he had to take it out because if he left it in, his rulings from the bench were wrong. And that was hard for him to reconcile, but I think he knows it. And he's given us little hints here and there where he said, this could be back in 3 months. This could be back in 6 months. This could be back. This could be back. This could be back. If this comes back, I think people will be rightly enthused about it coming back. And if it comes back, all those fees go to the defendants. And that'll be, and I don't mean the fee awards go to the defendants. I mean the fee bills go to the defendants. That will be the sweetest nectar of all time. Bad Dragonite says, channel idea, Rekieta Media's Law-Fi Nick Hop rants to study by. Oh my God. It's just remixes, auto-tuned remixes of my rants. But yeah, so we'll see. But that's the status on the knives. I really, really want to auction them. Just sitting on my shelf. They're really great workmanship. I'm in contact with Ken, with relative frequency. Ken's the guy who made the knives. And I want to honor the work he put into it, maximize the contribution to the GoFundMe. And so that's why I've been sitting on them. I do have faith that they will be, that they will be some sort of, that there will be a rise in enthusiasm following the appeals, or at least going into the appeals. And when that happens, I will pick the right time. We will auction those bad boys off, and we will make sure that those knives get out. So, anyway, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the year in review, and it's kind of where we're going with the channel over the next at least several months. I don't expect the Vic case to be done by the end of 2020. I expect we'll know more. The appeal should happen prior to the end of 2020. The appeal should go on. Or should be, hopefully we'll have some result on the appeals in June. And then, or by June, but we'll get more info on that and that scheduling as we go here. I was going to look and see if there's been anything new filed in that specific thing. Give me 1 second here just to make sure there's nothing new in the appeals filing. Oh, another thing we will be following very closely, Greg Doucette's lawsuit against the Sons of Confederate Veterans, filed by apparently, or taken on by Woolman, Mark Woolman, whatever, from the Randazza Law Group, prestigious law firm for Greg Doucette to hire. That'll be very interesting. We'll be filing that or following that very closely. Okay. But we'll be following that extremely closely as we go into the new year. I think that might produce some comedy. Learn something about how DMCA cases work. I think I don't have the highest hopes for that lawsuit success. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe the Sons of the Confederate Veterans will back down. Maybe not. I think their first move is to change venue. Argue that they don't have diversity jurisdiction. Well, it's a federal question. That doesn't really matter. Keep going through that, but it's a federal question because it's a copyright issue. But the jurisdiction should be improper because Dropbox shouldn't be included in the suit. But we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait to see how that turns out. And oh man, I hope that Greg Doucette gets as much success from Jay Woolman as Alex Jones got. That's what I hope for Greg Doucette. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Alex Jones, he has been ordered. He has not even gotten through his lawsuit in Texas, and he has been ordered to pay $126,000 so far in sanctions and other fees for Alex Jones. Man, I'll have to see if I can find Alex Jones's lawsuit. Anyway, I'll have to see if I can get more information on that. But he is not faring well in court, mainly because he apparently is not complying with the discovery requests, and maybe he's just he's deleting stuff that he shouldn't have deleted, etc., etc., etc. We'll have to look deeper into the filings, see where it's going, but things are not going well for him. I'm sure all of the free speech lawyers out there who definitely want people like Monica Rial saying all of their free speech, I'm sure that they all support Alex Jones. But we'll see. Who knows? I really do like Alex Jones or not, and think that what he said was good or not, which that's a subjective question. I'm not personally for the attacking of families of victims of various tragedies, although I don't really think that Alex Jones did that much. I mean, he had that weirdo on, but his First Amendment protection should be quite high, as he is under pretty much any definition, some level of journalist. So he should be able to say these things and comment about these public controversies. And the fact that people are celebrating the legal destruction of Alex Jones because they don't like him, are failing to consider the consequences of what that means. So, okay. There you go. Well, I think what we should do is wrap up the stream. I will read the chats. Oh, excuse me. I'll read the chats, wrap up the show. I have a big day tomorrow traveling back home. Like I said, I will do a Twitch stream after this for a little while. Not sure how long, but we'll see. We'll see what to do. What's going on. But if you do leave during the super chats, thanks for hanging out tonight. Again, there will be no stream tomorrow night, which is Thursday. It's now Thursday for most people watching, but Thursday there will be no stream. Friday there will be a stream of some sort. I will let you know what it is as soon as possible. I've got the audio recording. You're right. I had my headphones. I knew I had a reason. Audio recording. Don't leave yet. We're doing the audio recording. Hold on. Get my plugged in. Okay. Here we go. Don't worry. I've got it pulled up right over here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. All right. Here is the audio. Only 100 people left. Dang it. Sorry. Here comes the audio. This is the audio of 4 very ugly men talking about Vic, what they want to do to him. So here we go.
Fear of, if people aren't vigilant, it's not going to be immediate. But once the cons have hardship, once there's that impetus of, well, yeah, it's been a couple years, and maybe he's learned his lesson.
Years? The hell is wrong with that person? Can you guys hear this? Yeah, you guys can hear this. That's Manjaw right there. That's Manjaw. So next.
Things have died down.
He's really struggling, and he still has that ardent fan base.
The soy-filled sack is a person named Alexis Filth. I don't know what that is.
The backlash the threat of backlash needs to have.
This is Renfamous. This is Renfamous talking. So there's wise words of Renfamous.
An imposing potential financial consequence to the degree that they're not even willing to risk it.
All right.
Is what it needs.
You hear that, TVW Dungeoneers? If you hear of any conventions having Vic Menage a Trois come into your town, you guys need to get your trans asses off of the couch and call and tell them that you were going to show up until you found out this fucking pervert was coming on.
So lie. So if you're not sure what's happening here, you have horrifying people, if you can call them that, discussing how to interfere with someone's business. And then the way you do it is to lie to conventions and tell them that you were going to go when they obviously were not. So next, so this is back to Renfamous.
And the key points to hit are that the fact that he has a reputation now, and there's a documented reputation that he has now, the fact that you can Google his name and find
anymore. You cannot play dumb anymore because it was playing dumb for a long time. Like this whole "we didn't know" nonsense is bullshit. However, you can't play dumb anymore.
Right, but having these things in
they're not playing dumb anymore. These broads are just being dumb now.
Media that are readily accessible is the way that you go to a small local con that has invited Vic Mignogna, and you can go to local media and say, look, our local convention has invited controversial potential child predator, sexual harasser, whatever you want to use, because those words have all been used in the media.
They created the media about it, though. Like, those words have been used because they used them. So the media is quoting them, and now this is the sick cycle of cancel culture, right? If the person doesn't have something that you can destroy them with, you can make the destruction up. You can make it up. You can create the destruction by creating a story through lies and then say, well, look. They reported on the lies, so now the lies are true. This is the world that we live in. This is the world that these people are begging for. Now, the only fortunate thing for these washed up harlots is that literally no one cares enough to destroy them. They aren't successful enough to destroy. There's nothing you could get them fired from because they don't have anything to be removed from. It's not useful. There's nothing to break. It's like walking around in a ceramic shard shop with a bull going like, well, what are we doing here? There's just shards. There's no vase for you. But that's literally what they've done. That's the whole point. And that was the point of it all. It's the long game. You have to... They have been saying that they've been trying to do this for 10 years. They finally got the ammunition to do it because of Monica and Marky. That's why. Monica and Marky gave enough credibility to some accusations to go in. You don't smell a lawsuit here because these things have nothing to take. There's nothing to take. What do you take from them? Their dignity? They don't have dignity. What do you take their dirt? They barely have dirt. They probably rent it. They don't have anything to take. There's no lawsuit that's going to happen from this. It sucks. But what do you do about it? There's nothing to get. You just be throwing money into the void. Okay, back to Renfamous. And I believe that Kaylin Saucedo, supreme grifter Kaylin Saucedo, who legit just stole money from GoFundMe, right? I need these for legal fees. And then got like $4,000 and used like a tiny bit of it on one 15-minute consultation and then just bought a bunch of stuff with the rest of it. Oh my God.
Controversy. If it bleeds, it leads.
Look at what our local
Wrong, women don't lead. I'm sorry. That was just too easy of a joke. That was a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. These women definitely don't. But I doubt they even bleed. I don't think their lady parts even work at all.
God has invited upon us and invited upon your children, invited upon our community. It's a big deal for a smaller con or a medium-sized con.
Yeah, the children angle's a good one. Ugh. That sounds like a pedo line to me. The children angle is a good one. Gross. Just check yourself into a mental institution. Find Epstein's cell and get in it.
There is a perverse sense of irony that I have that loves that I would be able to turn around the won't somebody think of the children on some of these right-wing chuds.
The use of chud is it's about the same level of indication as pronouns in the bio, maybe worse.
Sorry,
And
Caitlin, what do you have?
Oh, well, news articles such
Sorry, that's Arms Girl. Listen to how these people communicate.
news outlets such as Variety and NPR are no small-time news outlets.
No.
You know, I'd say those are pretty big places to point to and be able to say, this is the kind of coverage this person received. Not exactly positive. It's not just nerd outlets where nerd reporters were reporting on a nerd thing that was happening.
Yeah, it's not just anime.
These are the least pleasant people to listen to on the entire planet. Ugh. It's all of these people have tried to have some level of online success. I think they genuinely wonder why they don't.
News network anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
but if you
It's in the local paper in Dallas, which is one
Right.
of
If
the
you have a con that's going on in Garland, Texas, and the Garland Times Herald has nothing else to talk about that day, you can get front page news that the local Garland con has invited a documented sexual harasser.
He's not a documented sexual harasser. So I would strongly recommend that the Garland Times Herald not say that he's a documented sexual harasser, because that's not true. There's still no documentation of any of this. That's the amazing thing. They have had a year to put something together, and they haven't done it. They haven't done it.
To attend with your children.
So-
I mean, that's the kind of pressure that they respond to. They don't respond as well to weeb tweets as they do to that kind of pressure.
Well, and someone who weighs as much as Lauren knows about people responding to pressure. So, but there you go. That's the audio. It's from some horrifying podcast. These people do a podcast. Do you even know? What's it called? The Violet Wanderers, episode 65, Vag of Holding. I don't even know who these... Alexis and Ian. These are, I guess... Are they trans? Male to female trans? Is Alexis a male to female trans? I genuinely don't know. Because that sounded like a dude, but maybe it's a male to female trans. That would make some sense as to why that sounded like a dude. Where can we find these recordings? Well, you can find that clip on the Kiwi Farms. It was posted by Non-Transferable. And I'm not going to link to their podcast or anything. Oh, Christ, I don't want to expose people to that. But it's gross. But again, the problem with people like Mars Girl, this is the weakness of the American legal system. A person with nothing, Mars Girl, tiny apartment full of anime toys and no income to speak of, has nothing to compensate you for the damage that it can do. They can ruin you. They can literally ruin your life. They can cause you millions of dollars in financial harm. And there's nothing that they have that you can take from them. They'll never have anything to take. Mars Girl will never be successful at things. She might have some ability, like, I don't know, putting Christmas tree stars on, right? She's probably good at that. She could probably be really successful at jump rope, or I don't know, anything that we're getting things off of shelves for old ladies. Who knows? But she won't go into an industry that she will excel in, ever. She just won't. She will be a bottom-feeding, useless pile of drain on society for the rest of her life. It's apparent in her attitude. It's apparent in what she is not doing. It's apparent in her spending 10 years trying to make it on YouTube, never making it, but just never doing anything that would be profitable or acquiring some sort of skill or training that would make her YouTube interesting. She just won't do it. So there's never going to be something to get from her. What, you want like a 86 Honda that she had to borrow from a homeless guy? Like, that's, what are you going to get? Renfamous. I don't know much about Renfamous. Allegedly, she comes from some family oil money. Maybe, maybe not. Family oil money, very hard to take. If she's just getting money from a trust or from her parents or whatever, you're not going to get that. No matter how hard you sue, you're not getting it. It's not going to happen. LJ Montello, Manjaw, does something somewhere, is something for some company, probably the most successful of the bunch, despite arguably having the most grating voice to listen to. But still, like, her level of success, what is she? A low-grade manager at some company or something? Some HR department? I don't remember. It sounds like an HR person, frankly. What are you going to get? What are you going to take? There's nothing to take. Garnish her jaw. There's just nothing to get. It's the weakness of the legal system in the current age, is that there is no compensation when someone who has nothing ruins you. And it's not just defamation, right? There are some laws that kind of protect you in some states from like a car accident, but it's kind of similar. Like if someone just, I don't know, someone on a bicycle runs into your infant and kills them in some way, and they're just, you know, nobody, what's the compensation? What are you going to get from them? Just a person. You compensate for that. It's always been a weakness. We don't throw people in jail for this stuff. I know it's easy to say that we should. But there's just nowhere to go. So it's really easy to say a lot of these people get a lawsuit. There's a reason that the people in the lawsuit are in the lawsuit. It's because there's something that can be done through the courts to these people that is of enough value to make it worth it, right? These are the most credible accusers, identifiable. They're the people who the damage is specifically linked to. Until Markey and Rial started talking and flapping about this, damage didn't start. It was just the same BS. It's just old rehashed stuff. But then these planets come in and start opening their maws and talking about these fictional stories that they've rewritten what happened, and pretended that they're offended a decade later. They do that, and then suddenly everything is, well, now everything is good because they're not just a random internet anonymous person. They knew that. They were trying to create this situation. That's something that's really important to remember about these people. They wanted this. They just didn't count on him fighting back. Wanted everything that happened to Vic to happen. They wanted it. They knew it. They were never going to let him back in the industry. They hoped he would go away or maybe even die. Never, ever wanted him back. They knew what would happen. That's why they did it. It's obviously why they did it. And I love that they try to retcon this thing. They try to pretend like, oh, we wanted to have Vic back in the industry. No, you didn't. You've said over and over that he is a danger to people. Well, we want this danger back in the industry. You're not even good liars. They wanted this situation because they thought he would just leave. Period. Nothing else to say on it. Whenever any of these people bring up the woe is me for the defendants or whatever, they wanted this. They needed to create a situation to fire Vic because they didn't like him. All of the outrage is manufactured. All of the defend women. These, trying to watch my insults a little bit, these disgusting heaps don't care about congoers. Don't. It's pretty evident in how they interact with people on Twitter. Their fans who ask them questions get blocked. Their fans who ask them questions get chewed out. They don't care about the community. They never have. Never have. All they cared about was getting Vic out because they don't like him and have been lying to Vic for upwards of 20 years. Think about that. You lie to someone to leech off of their success for 20 years. This is what we have to believe. We have to believe that they pretended to be his friend for almost 20 years. Whew. Ryan K says they keep saying that Vic is a documented harasser because the Lemon said so in court filings. The bald bankrupt sped keeps saying it as if it's the same thing as being a registered sex offender. Idiots, the lot of them. Well, yeah. But yeah, these people are borderline sociopathic. And here they are pretending, well, we were just sticking up for the community and we were just trying to bring to save people. You don't care about people. They don't. This is their friend. Think about that. Would you do this to your friend? Would you ruin your friend? It's a big step to ruin someone. You have to think pretty hard about that usually. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Nothing fits between Monica and Marky, Philip Yao. So you can't decide which one is Scylla and which one is Charybdis between Monica and Marky. Scylla and Charybdis could not fit between those. Ooh. So. All right. Well, let's do the chats. Oh, I didn't talk about Senpai is home. Senpai, a long time ago, I had told Senpai is home that I would have him on the show. Okay? Because it was at a time I was having a lot of people on the show, and I thought, okay, well, I'll have him on. The plan was to go through kind of a lot of different people commenting on it and get some information about Vic. The plan kind of broke down I got really busy, and there was a lot of activity in the case that was going on. When I made the plan, thought things were going to slow down, I believe. It was a long time ago, so I don't really remember. But I'm pretty sure I said multiple times things should slow down any day. And I wanted, it was when the community was having some friction. And I really wanted to have Senpai on to kind of get his perspective. Because it wasn't just Senpai, though. It's like Senpai, Sammy, and a bunch of people were kind of on the slate to come on the show. And not really that many people did. I did like a couple streams with other people on to talk about it, but then there was always like case stuff to talk about it, and it fell by the wayside. And then also Senpai got involved in some weird drama that I have no idea about. Something with Twitter and women and whatever. Don't care. Didn't care about it. Never did. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Welcome to the show, buddy. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had pie. Oh, Ethan, I thought about you today because I looked at a clock at exactly 3:14 p.m. And I went, 3:14 in a mirror is pi, right? If the 4 is like the diagonal, triangle 4, or well, I guess it's this way, triangle 4, and then you put it in the mirror, it's pi. And it's like, I should text Ethan or Twitter Ethan and say, hey, it's pi o'clock. But then I couldn't get my phone to take the picture at the right time. So I was thinking about you though, buddy, just today. So happy pi o'clock. I hope you enjoyed some lovely pie for New Year's. Anyway, back to this Senpai story. So a whole bunch of stuff happened. There was drama involved. And then that whole plan of like interviewing people kind of fell by the wayside as the case kind of dragged on and all of that stuff. No. Borgz, I know it's the mathematical pi 3.14, but put 3.14 on a mirror and it will spell out pi. Like, just look at it. There's a meme. It's the meme where the guy says the 3.14 and then the mirror thing, and he notices that it spells pi, and that makes it even funnier. God, come on. All right. So anyway. Long story short, long story long, I never had Senpai on. Now, Senpai also was like hanging out with Mad Black, which is fine. Don't care. Didn't care then. Don't really care now about it. And then he disavowed Mad Black's statements about my family and all that stuff, which is great. That's all. I don't care. But then recently, Senpai has been whining about me not having him on the show, like really whining about me in DMs. And so I said, look, I'm sorry I didn't get to you. I'm sorry. Pitch me a show idea and we'll do a show. So he pitched me a show idea. Maybe we'll get to that show sometime soon. Although, and you guys can be the judge of this, I guess, but if you pitch someone a show and then add in a bunch of bitching about how they've mistreated you or whatever, does that weaken or enhance your pitch? What do you think? You guys be the judge. Does it weaken the pitch or enhance the pitch if you say, here's a show I want to do, but here's all my complaints about you? I don't know. Go ahead and tell me what it is, because I think that it weakens the pitch a little bit. But yeah. So the dumb thing is, I really didn't have a problem bringing him on, but I don't know anything about him. And so I was asking for a show idea. And I even apologized for not having him on sooner. Told him why. Told him exactly what I've told you. Didn't know your drama was weird. I didn't know about it. Didn't care about it. Didn't want anything to do with it. And then I just was busy. So, yeah, it's a weird thing, the senpai thing. Oh, I do have the Chris Hook documents. Neat. I guess we could do those too. I keep forgetting all this stuff. Turn off that. That's nice. This will be pretty quick. Oh, we transitioned successfully. That's great. Here's the there's two documents. One of them is the fees. this document here. The other document is 15 pages of the exhibits for the billing. We're not going to go through that. We're going to go through just this two-page thing. So this is the Allstate thing. Just want to point out how good these attorneys are. Now, okay, so here's what happened, right? If you don't know what's going on here, Chris Hook sent a bunch of really funny emails, in my opinion, to the attorneys for Allstate in this case, where Allstate is acting like an insurance company and refusing to pay out to the people who have probably been paying their premium diligently. So they pay for years and years and years on this policy, or for even if it's for 1 month. They enter into an agreement with Allstate to pay on a policy. They presumably pay. Then bad things happen, and they go to get compensated because that's why we get insurance. And then the insurance company, who demands over and over and over that you better pay them, says, well, we don't want to pay you. Oh, you've got to take us to court to pay you what we owe you, right? That's how this works. Insurance companies are atrocious to deal with many, many times. So that's just lovely. But anyway, so he's dealing with them. He gets kind of a little loose-lipped and drops a bunch of emails calling them all sorts of gay boys and stuff like that. And then allegedly threatens to waterboard the deposition people, which is obviously not serious. And also allegedly threatens, although not enough of a threat to actually get a restraining order, allegedly threatens the family of one of the Allstate attorneys. Now, I don't believe it was a threat. I don't believe it qualifies legally as a threat. Should he have put that email in there? Should he have sent that in an email? No. Probably not. It's funny from the outside, but you probably shouldn't send that email. I would not recommend that to a first-year lawyer acting that way. It's not the best way to get your clients what you need. But that's, he was doing what he thought was best. It's wrong, but still, he didn't actually convey a legally actionable threat. And we can tell because the judge, though he said he was going to grant a restraining order in the hearing, ended up not granting a restraining order because Allstate failed to meet its burden to show that a restraining order was necessary. That being said, the judge then told Allstate to submit a memorandum detailing their fees for this ex parte motion. Okay? This is not the fees for the entire case. Let's be very clear on what this is. This is the fees for those emails, the motion, and the hearing. All right? How much do you think Allstate is going to ask for? That's what I want you to know, is how much do you think Allstate will ask for? It's amazing. So anyway, we'll read through it real quick. Pursuant to the court's minute order dated December 19th, 2019, defendant Allstate Insurance Company submits the following memorandum of costs and fees incurred in connection with its application for ex parte relief, on which the court held a hearing on December 16th, 2019. Allstate has incurred costs and fees of at least $41,748 in connection with its ex parte application, which was necessitated by Christopher Hook's numerous abusive and threatened emails. $41,000 in attorney's fees. Whew. This amount consists of at least 16.8 hours of attorney time by Peter H. Klee at a rate of $4.90 per hour, at least 46.8 hours of attorney time by Mark J. Feldman at a rate of $490 per hour, at least 25.2 hours of attorney time by Jack Burns at a rate of $420 per hour. Wow. Wow. This includes all of the 3 attorneys' time spent reviewing and evaluating Mr. Hook's numerous emails. Now, remember, we read through the emails in about 10 minutes on the live stream. Like, the emails are short one-line emails. Researching and preparing the initial ex parte application and supporting documents, reviewing and evaluating Mr. Hook's opposition, researching and preparing Allstate's reply papers, traveling to and attending the hearing, Mr. Klee and Mr. Feldman only, and preparing the order requested by the court. A detailed billing sheet showing the time and fees incurred with other time and confidential information redacted is attached as Exhibit 1. So, $41,000, really taking advantage of the judge's discretion here, because the judge has said Hook said that he will be paying the fees, or that he agreed to pay for something, some level of fee. And the judge just said, "Oh, you're going to write a check. You're going to write a check for this one, boy. You're going to write a check." So we'll have to see. Hook should probably fight that amount at the appellate level, I guess. He can't really fight it with the judge. The judge isn't going to give him a fair shake on it at all. Their billing, does it look like trash? I mean, I could show it to you, I suppose. We won't go through it all. Here's their fee details. Review correspondent, RE settlement demand. They've redacted all of this stuff. Everything that they didn't do. So, review additional correspondence from attorney Hook, RE settlement demand and correspondent to clients, RE same. Review numerous settlement demands. Review and response to numerous correspondence from Hook. This took 3 hours apparently. Including research regarding an evaluation of possible sanctions and ex parte motion. View numerous threatening emails. They're reviewing these emails a lot. View numerous improper email threats. Review new barrage of increasingly threatening emails at 1.3 hours. Review further emails, another 1.3 hours. These are on the same day. Just hours and hours of time that they spent looking at these emails. These emails are one sentence, 2 sentences long. So that's where we go. Here's this. This is where we start to get a lot. Work on motion to dismiss, 9.5 hours. Review plaintiff's opposition, 8.6 hours. I mean, just racking up time on this. Privilege, 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 privilege. I guess you got to fight those privilege ones. But the judge isn't going to, I mean, there's no way that judge traveled to from hearing 5 hours, attend the hearing 0.7 hours. There's no way this judge gives him a fair shake on it. So, but that's what it looks like. I mean, it's pretty clear cut. But this is how insurance attorneys work. You're getting paid by an insurance company. They just dump all sorts of tenth of hours for everything. Everything's a tenth of an hour, and you document all of it. That's how pay with insurance companies goes. Because, well, you're getting paid by an insurance company. So every phone call, 1/10 of an hour. Leave a message, 1/10 of an hour. Read an email, 1/10 of an hour. That's because typically they bill in tenths. So 6-minute intervals. Hit 7 minutes, that's 2/10. And the software that they use to do this likely has a literal timer where they hit a button, start and stop on tasks, and it logs it for them. It's very, very thorough, and you get over that 6-minute time, 6 minute and 1 second or whatever, it will tick over to the next chunk. That's just how it goes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But that's that. There's not much else to say on the billing. I'm sure the judge is going to blanket grant the fee amount that they request. Hook can file an opposition. He'll have to if he wants to appeal it. Otherwise, he'll just pay it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Hook's loaded. You can just drop 41 grand on it as a business expense. Could be. But we'll see. I'll be following it, so we'll see how it goes. But it's fantastic. So, all right. Okay, now I've said this like 10 times, but now I think I've now covered everything. I finish up the chats, and we're going to close out the stream. So, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. My Nika says, Happy New Year, you old boomer. Looking forward to this year's season of Weeb Wars, especially after last year's NBA filler arc. May have not progressed the main storyline, but damn was it entertaining to watch. Hi Baker says, Hey Nick, I messaged you on Twitter for a show idea. If you got to it, what do you think? If you didn't, I can resend / redirect to another means of contact. Well, send it to my email just so I make sure I get it. For chat, it can be described as a legal whose line pester the boomer if you want it. Okay. I don't recall seeing it specifically, but send it to my email. Okay, next one says, no, wait, did I already read that one? Okay, let's see. Next one says, wait, did I skip some justice chats? No, wait a minute, I haven't read this one, or did I? Chat, did I read this one already? Help my boomer ass out. 1 for yes, 2 for no. So thank you to okay, next one. Watcher says, Nick, check how Vic's recent Twitter post got over 9,000 likes. Compared to the likes in certain people's Twitter, then laugh hard how they failed at killing Vic's everything. Yeah, well, he remains popular with fans. We'll get to see how his convention schedule goes for the year. Hopefully it does fill up. I know he's got some bookings on the table. I don't know what all is announced. I don't know how many he's got and how many have been announced. I don't know. I just know that there's some that are confirmed. So we'll see. We'll see. Michael Rule says, oh, look, the Three Stooges. TLJ Screwjob says, I had never heard of Vic Mignogna before February 2019. Nick Rekieta. Also, Nick, I'd heard of Vic before the case. Law Twitter / Defendant's Counsel. Vic's financier lied about not knowing the plaintiff. We must depose him now. Yes, do it. Crusader Saracen. Oh, by the way, everybody should want this to come back from appeals. Because if it comes back from appeals, they likely get to depose me. So that'll be fun, right? They'll actually have a basis to potentially depose me if it comes back from appeals. So we get to have that fight. Crusader Saracen says, John Michael Kelly figured out you knew Ty? By God, he's a real Archimedes, isn't he? Have a good new year and God bless. You too, buddy. And Jared the Cat says, listening to you and rehearsing my presentation for a panel I'm hosting for my next con, Anime Zap. Hey, cool. Congrats, man. Have fun at the have fun doing a panel. Mario Carter 13 says, in with a breath, out with a wheeze, pay them fees. Super duper. Happy New Year's. I'll be celebrating with a blunt now that Illinois has finally legalized recreational marijuana. Well, blessings to you, good sir. Enjoy that blunt. Cynic in Chief says, Happy New Year in Florida. I typically ride Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa while the clock ticks over, but couldn't get off this year to go down there. We went to Busch Gardens the other day. Was it It was the 30th. We went the 30th. It was packed. Absolutely ridiculous. Mars Ultor says, who was the aging tattooed hooer last night? I'm not sure who you're referring to specifically, but because there are lots of people there, so I don't know who all was in the video. I was with Lady Raggets and Gothic Sushi and a gentleman who, I'm not going to name him because, again, doesn't need to be bothered, but he's a con owner. So some nobody says those RX tards got sanctions. Eat a bowl of dicks. Not sure what that's in reference to, but sure. Cowboy FMJ91 says, Happy New Year to our favorite YouTube grifter. Oh, Happy New Year back to you. Skaki Onsai says, won a bet with a longtime friend. Oregon won 28-27 over Wisconsin. The bet, 1 bottle of Glenlivet 12. I'll be enjoying this on Friday. Hashtag whiskey grift. Ooh, have fun with that. The Masked Debater says, Rekieta Law exposed on my channel, lol. So you guys can go check out The Masked Debater, his channel, and apparently there's an expose video on me. So here you go. Rick Nikita says, when we going back to Knoxville, fam? I don't know. I don't know what I will be down there for, but I kind of like Knoxville. It's kind of a fun town. Ben Frail says, New Year's resolution, no more super chats in 2020. Oh, you failed. Popcat Zoo, they found your show because of Shane. I wonder how much he grew your audience. I don't know. But however much it was, thank you. Robert H. sent a cool sticker. Thank you. Ocean Redux says, you need to watch Uzuki no Retetsu anime. It's literally lawyer's judgment in politics, but it's in hell, so everything's hell-based. It's based as F. Sounds kind of crazy. Robert H. sent another sticker. Thank you. Matt Field says, you can thank me for alerting Mr. Anti-Bully's friend on his last live stream. Well, thank you. Happy New Year. Nick and fam in chat. D-Man Dog 56 says, Nick, you think Marvel's 40K comics will be heresy? Hopefully 40K exercises the level of control over their IP that they normally do. Finn Frog says, John R. Kelly is even more apt now, it seems. Oof. Last Sigil, thanks for the donation. Jason of the Great Awakening says, it seems it would have been a lot smarter for the defendants to settle long ago, even apology/retraction. But I guess they saw the GoFundMe and got dollar signs in their eyes with the lawyers' help. Yeah, it would have been a lot smarter for them to settle long ago, especially if what they say about healing the community and all that stuff is true. They could have done that. They really probably could have done something and worked something out, but they didn't want to. Because they wanted him done, dead, out, gone. Everything they said after about, oh, you get to come back after a while. Of course not. They can't. You can't decide that someone is too dangerous to be around anybody and then want them back later. It doesn't work that way. Some nobody says BS. Keon and Drexel are the best streams. It's a good stream. Matt Field says, favorite was the Dollhouse stream. Fell asleep, woke up to it still going. Ever imagine doing this for a living? No. Great for you to be home with the kids. It is great. That's one of my favorite parts of this is that I do work from home. But no, never imagine doing this for a living. Some nobody says, objection, Your Honor. You're full of SH asterisk and improper. Ooh. The Mass Debater says, clout chasing, positivity, all 2020 long. Check me out. There you go. Mario Carter 13. Dude, will you stop spamming the chat? Oh my God. There's one rule. It's don't spam the chat. You can say whatever the shit you want. I don't care, but Jesus. Mario Carter 13 says he likes children from certain angles. No one important says, why are all these people concentrated in one place? Is this hell? This must be hell. It is. It is hell. Trash Town TV says, do we know for a fact that the orangutan spent any money on a retainer or consultation? No, we don't. Her receipts don't even list the names of any law firm, just dollar amounts. I say she pocketed the entire GFM. Never know. Never know. Nathan Ashcraft says, did Ron make a non by deleting his Twitter for those few days? No. Evidence preservation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to preserve it in a specific way. You just have to preserve it. It just has to exist. Because otherwise, like the retraction request, part of the retraction would be to delete those texts. You'd have to preserve the text, but still remove them from Twitter, right? So you print them out or you capture them or whatever, you archive them, and then you remove them from Twitter. That's how that would work, with preserving the evidence while also honoring a takedown request. So no, he also brought his Twitter back, and if he permanently deleted something and didn't properly preserve it, it could lead to some sort of issue. I already addressed Alex from Morsky. I went through that whole thing. Weird. Nathan Kish says, couldn't that podcast be evidence against them? I mean, against the podcast people, yes, sure. Absolutely. Now, it might be bad that one of the Athians is on that podcast talking about it. So maybe there's an in to introduce it, maybe to talk about what these people are doing, but we'll have to see. We'll have to leave that to the Texas lawyers to decide what they want to do. Steve Shitty says, just accidentally let off the brake at a stoplight if you see them crossing the street. Don't do that. That's not recommended. Yethna P says, please Nick and EBS stream with no surprise guests. I would like that very much. I'll talk to Ethan. We'll see if we can put together a show somewhere, either his show or mine. Doesn't matter to me. That would be great. Nathan Ashcraft says, have Sammy on the show. He doesn't bitch. He's fun. Are you talking SG Sammy? Yeah, I don't think people realize, like, I wasn't intentionally snubbing anybody. It really wasn't. Things got very busy. If you notice, there was a long time with very few guests outside of people with an immediate thing to talk about. So, but yeah, there's a whole lot of time left. Nothing Raven says, I was at a con a few years ago that had both Jamie and Monica at one of the panels. Said that one of the things they like to do is flirt with Vic because he gets all red and embarrassed. Yeah. Oh. Nothing Raven says, I tried to find a recording of it but couldn't. It's too bad. Some nobody says, Clee could get this whole face tattooed for $41K. Mario Carter 13 says, the check's not the only thing that's cut, gay boy. Hi, Asia Frazier says, Happy New Year. Thanks for the updates, Sir Rackets. Hey, thank you. Happy New Year to you. Some nobody says, please respond to every question with bowl of dicks. And Bad Dragonite says, gonna play Warhammer 40K Space Wolf on Switch. Oh, are they releasing it on Switch? Because I didn't like playing it on my phone because I don't like having games on my phone. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I bought the Switch Lite for the travel and I didn't really play it that much. But my kids did, so who knows? We'll see. All right, guys. That is the end of the show. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, Thursday night, there will not be a show. Friday, there will be a show. Not sure what it'll be yet specifically. It's coming. And remember, there's a bunch of content coming out. I got to get home. Recording here, other than these few live streams that I've done, is really, it's just not conducive to what I need. So got to have my setup at home. I got to have my junk. I got to not have kids during the daytime running around. So you'll see that. Remember to like the stream if you haven't. Share this stuff if you like to, or don't. That's cool. And then when's Ace Attorney? Oh, why do you like it? Oh boy. Anyway, we'll see. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace. Come watch Twitch.
Come watch Twitch.
Oh, hey.